What's up, everybody? Welcome to Moxie Bets presented by Caesar Sportsbook. I'm your host, Katie Mox. Coming up on today's show, the Masters start today. We have a special guest to give you all of the picks that you need for the green jacket. Plus, the Kentucky Derby is exactly 1 month away. So we're going to preview some things that are shaking up out there leading up to the big race. And of course, you know it, you've got some Mox Locks coming your way. But first, let's kick things off with the Mox thought of the day, and that is the Moxie Bets Bracket Challenge winner. The UConn Huskies won this year's NCAA tournament, and with that, our winner for the Moxie Bets Bracket Challenge is Vaughn Jetter. Congratulations, you are the winner. Only 4 contestants had UConn as the winner this year, and you know, me, Danny, and Kenny didn't finish too good. Kenny finished at the top with 66. I was 115. And Danny Brasco down there at 125. So congratulations, Vaughn Jetter. Please reach out to us on Moxie Bet's Twitter or Instagram handle so that you can get on the show as promised. Looking forward to meeting you and getting whatever your locks are for that day. So again, congratulations, Vaughn Jetter. Hit us up on social media so that we can get you up on the show. We're going to take a quick break here, and then we're going to get into Capper's Corner. We've got a special guest to talk Masters and betting on the ponies. Caesar Sportsbook is not just an app, it's a whole empire. Iconic casinos, hotels, world-class restaurants. It's all yours with Caesar's Rewards. Because every bet you place, win or lose, earns reward credits, which you can redeem for hotel stays at over 50 destinations, meals, tickets, merch, bonuses, and more. Get started today. Create an account with promo code OMAHAFULL. Time now for Capper's Corner. Let's welcome in our very special guest of the day, all the way from Australia. My guy is calling in at 4 o'clock in the morning, or just a few minutes after. We appreciate you. You can find him on FanDuel TV, TVG, Sports Grid, and more. It's Andrew Dubsy Anderson. Dubsy, what's up?
What up, Mox? You know, making that money has no days off. 4 a.m., 6 p.m., whenever it may be. We're trying to cash some tickets here. And look, it's a big week in sports. You know it's a big week for me, Mox. They got that golf tournament where they put that green jacket on. So this is not one where I get any rest.
Well, I'm thankful that you're not getting any rest because we wouldn't want to talk to anyone else when it comes to the Masters. So let's get right into it. The Masters is underway right now. I've heard that Tiger Woods isn't doing that great, but I took him to make the cut because I feel like you're not American if you don't take Tiger Woods to make the cut, even though it was juiced to minus 167. But what are some storylines that you like at this year's tournament?
Yeah, look, I feel like this point in time, to start the major season, we say this is the most anticipated major we've seen in recent times. Well, it really is, right? You know, Scotty Scheffler's trying to go back to back. This guy's an absolute beast. Tiger Woods, the last guy to do that in 2002. Rory McIlroy is chasing that career Grand Slam at the majors. And we know for Rory McIlroy, he's been playing some really good golf, but he's also been the face of the PGA Tour with everything going on off the golf course the last 12 months. Jon Rahm, the big Spanish bull, what a season he's putting together. And the live golfers, they get to see their old PGA Tour mates squaring off here at Augusta National, the one golf course that we get to show up to every 12 months for the majors. The others obviously bounce through their rotation. So the Masters, for me, as big as it gets, a lot of storylines brewing. But yeah, I mean, the last 12 months, Mox, you know, I think when we last caught up, we're talking about professional golf. It's never going to look the same. Well, a lot of these golfers have got a point to prove with a bit of extra motivation coming out there this week.
How do you feel about Phil Mickelson? I was talking to my dad about him last night, and for him to make the cut, it was plus 100 at even money, and I thought that was crazy, but my dad said he has not been looking very good. He looks a little disheveled and hasn't been playing his game. What do you think about him this week?
It's tough. He's lost a lot of weight, but you know when someone loses too much weight, you're like, well, okay, I liked you more, and you had a little bit more going on here. But that's Phil Mickelson, and he's obviously copped the brunt of a lot of the bad feedback going towards live golf. In terms of his golf game, he hasn't looked good since going to play the other tour. He's not sharp, and that's been one of the biggest knocks. How can these professional golfers keep their game sharp if they're not playing as much, if they're playing 54 holes instead of 72? Right. But the one positive you can take for Tiger Woods, for Phil Mickelson, this is always a tournament where course history, golf IQ is going to be rewarded. If you've played here in the past and you've figured it out, both Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson have no shortage of green jackets. that's in their corner. That's going for him. So for Lefty to make it through the weekend, it's a lot of things have to go in his favor. And to be honest, Mox, I just haven't seen enough of late to think he can mix it with some of these young guys who bring in a lot of form.
Yeah, I did read an article the other day that said if there is such a thing as home field advantage in golf, then Tiger and Phil definitely have that for the Masters because, like you said, a lot of green jackets between those two. All right, Dubsy, who do you like to win it all?
Look, it's artistry, not science for me this week. I think Jordan Spieth, who's had a win here back in 2015, he's had 5 top 10 finishes. You look at the form that he's had on the PGA Tour this season. He's had 3 top 10 finishes out of his last 6 starts. And this is a guy, I still consider him one of the young guys on the PGA Tour. He's just got that dog in him, Mox. This is a guy you want to go into battle with. It's a golf course that he obviously loves playing well on. He has figured out the recent form's been there for me. The short game's been there. And we look at the key skills that you need to do well here. You need short game, you need distance, you need shot making, and ability to play with a bit more undulation on some of these tougher lies. Jordan Spieth, he wants to be there. This is the biggest stage in professional golf late on Sunday afternoon. The golf game's got to be there, but up top mentally, you need that mental fortitude, that moxie out there on the golf course. Jordan Spieth, he's got it in spades for me. Yeah, nice little pun on words there. Moxie Bets. I had to get in there.
I love that. I think moxie is an underrated word, as is gumption. Gumption, nobody says that
Yes,
word anymore,
love
but
gumption.
it is a good one. How about the weather there this weekend? I heard there's a lot of rain on the forecast. How does that kind of affect the game?
Yeah, so look, a lot of people think when it rains for these professional golfers, it makes it a little harder. It's not really the case. Wind is a lot
Mm.
tougher. If we get rain, that means it's a soft golf course, and the biggest defense mechanism at Augusta National is around the greens. As we saw a couple of years ago, Hideki Matsuyama wasn't in it until we had a bit of rain on that golf course, and he started to go flag hunting. So if we do get the damper conditions, keep in mind those more aggressive golfers with that really good iron play who excel in strokes gained on approach, they could rocket up this leaderboard.
All right. Oh my God, I love that. What did you just say? You said it was flag hunting. That is
That's
something
it.
that I've not heard before. I absolutely love that. All right, let's talk long shots. Any underdogs that you think could make a big splash, possibly win it all?
Yeah, look, 30 to 1, I'll consider middle tier here. Cameron Young still looking for that breakthrough win on the PGA Tour. What does he do well? He bombs at an absolute mile. Katie Mox on the golf course hits at about 270. Cameron Young is about 320 plus. He is that long out there, but he's still looking for that breakthrough win. So the books show a bit of disrespect to Cameron Young, but he has shown that the golf game travels. He wants to do it on the big stage. 2 top 5s at the majors there last year. He was really close again in Austin at the match play before coming so short late on Sunday afternoon. For me, that's extra motivation. I don't think he's going to be deterred by that. He's got a new caddy and new looper on the bag. And this is a golf course that they've added a bit of distance to the par 5 13th this week. You've got to be a big bomber on this ballpark, over 7,500 yards. Cameron Young at 30 to 1 has to be
Mm.
at the top of your list. A breakthrough win at the Masters is hard to do, but this kid's special.
All right, so those are some underdogs, and of course, who you think's going to win it all. Now let's talk some top finishes, top 5, top 10. Any bets you like?
Alexander Schauffele, he had a miscut here last year, so I think that may scare a couple of people off. But you look at the 3 starts prior to that, 2 top 5 finishes. The golf game, it's built for the major championships. No real weakness. We go back and we look at the key stats for winners at Augusta National. They've done a bit of everything. They've kept it in play. The short game's been there. They've putted really well. Xander Schauffele does that. The knock has always been that he hasn't had that killer instinct over the weekends. Well, he showed us last year he did. 3 wins on the PGA Tour, 2 of those Indy, 9th in strokes gained on approach, 20th in strokes gained putting. So I think Xander Schauffele, the X-Men, it's not a great number, but minus 110, right around even money for a top 10 finish. He'll be there right in the conversation on Sunday.
I love that. Any props that you're looking at for this weekend?
Yeah, we got to keep it interesting, Mox. I think we'll see a hole in one, and I think we
Woo!
see it on Sunday,
Okay.
which you can find at a lot of books, plus 140, because we know where they're going to put these pins on Sunday. They want drama. They want entertainment. I think we see one on the 16th. Not that it has to come on that par 3, but they generally put some of these pins in the easier positions, give these golfers a chance to sort of make a bit of a tilt on Sunday, see a bit of change on this leaderboard. So I think we could see something really special, and we get plus 140 to get those crowds roll. This is a golf course, Mox, where they dye the water to make it look pretty. They play like music in the background on the golf course of birds chirping. They want it to be special. Give us a hole in one at plus 140 on Sunday.
Let's go. Okay, well, the tagline is a tradition like no other. What is your favorite Masters memory?
Oh, you know what? So growing up in Australia, the time difference,
Oh,
funny enough, is disgusting. But we always
disgusting.
used to get up super early, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., so we could watch all the coverage. And unfortunately for us, we had Greg Norman, who's now the head
Oh,
honcho over there at Live. He was so close. He was the pride of Australia. And he famously, I don't like to use the C word in sports or sports betting, but he choked a couple of
yeah.
times on the back nine. And that was crushing for us. But we did have Adam Scott come back and get that green jacket for the land down under. But they're my best memories. And this week, it's starting to feel a little similar.
Yeah, I feel like when Tiger Woods won again in 2019, that was just
Very special.
such
Yeah.
a yeah, such a story of comeback too, right? Because he hadn't been there for a long time. So that's probably my favorite. All right, outside of the Masters, and I will say I did watch the HBO docu-series Full Swing, so I feel like I'm a little bit more in tune with maybe some of these rookies, some of these new guys. Are there any storylines or players that maybe even aren't playing this weekend that we should keep an eye on this golf season?
Yeah, I think Tom Kim is a young phenom that you've got to keep tabs on. He has won on the PGA Tour. I think he was right around 70, 75 to 1 coming into the Masters this week. This kid has all the game in the world. He's hanging out with the right people. He's learning from the best. And we saw that at the President's Cup. I think we start to see it at the major championships. He hits it a mile. He's got that ability to go really low, and he can play on some of these tougher golf courses. You know, week to week on the PGA Tour, we see the old bomb and gouge, 22, 23 under par to get it done, which is great. Who's the longest driver? Who can chip and putt? But when we get to the major championships, you're a bit more tested. It's more about the golf IQ, having those smarts. And for a young guy, 20 years of age, Tommy Kim, already sitting inside the top 20 in the world rankings, I feel like that's a name still sneaking under the radar.
What'd you think of the Full Swing docu-series? You like it?
I like it, but I mean, my guy Brooks Koepka, we got to get it together. Where's the PR team to
Yeah.
just make him look a little better? But hey, golf is starting to get cool,
Yeah.
or is it not, Mox? Am I too far down in the golf zone thinking like,
No,
hey,
it's
people are
cool.
starting to watch? It is right. Okay,
It's
this is
starting to get
sensational.
cool, and I think that really appealed to even younger generations or maybe people
Yeah,
that hadn't been watching golf. Like, I grew up playing a little bit of golf, my parents play and watch golf, but my interest level was not the same as, say, it is, for football. But watching the documentary or docuseries rather, and getting to know these players, especially some of the new ones, the up and coming, you just feel like similar to Betty, you have a little bit more skin in the game when you can kind of see behind the curtain a little bit and see that these guys are not like golf is not boring. Golf is cool. These guys are cool and it is fun. And so I would agree with you. I think that golf is on the come up when it comes to public opinion. All right, Dubsy,
yeah.
you bet on golf. You were a caddy yourself. Obviously, we come to you for that, but you also like to bet on the ponies. And you're now with TVG and FanDuel TV talking about horse betting. So I would be remiss not to ask you about the Kentucky Derby that is exactly 1 month away. I'll tell you what, my favorite thing about betting on the ponies is the name of the horses. What do we like?
Yeah, me too, Mox. I love a day at the track, a day on the punt. The first Saturday, mate, it's been a really special prep trail, right? Just to sort of set the conditions. 20 runners go into the gates. There's always a great chance for chaos. We saw it with Rich Strike last year, 80 to 1, getting it done. But we've been having some of these prep races stretching back out to last year. And there's one horse that remains up top of the list and a superior animal from what I'm seeing, Forte for Todd Pletcher. So there's Forte, and then it's
Foreplay.
everyone else. You can see in the futures market still sitting at 3 to 1, which is a very, very short number. I would liken Forte as like the Conor McDavid of
Ooh,
equine, Paddy Mahomes of racehorses, just knows how to get it done. And you look at the connections, which we're big on in racing. It's Todd Pletcher, Hall of Fame trainer, 8-time Eclipse Award winning trainer. Irad Ortiz gets back in the irons, considered to be one of the best in North America. And those recent 2 wins at the Florida Derby and the Fountain of Youth, both coming at the Gulfstream Park, so impressive. Has that ability to get out in front and get it done, and also has that ability and that turn of foot to close from coming off the pace. And that's a really good couple of skill sets to have going into the gates there at Churchill Downs. So for me, it's Forte up on top. We've seen a couple of other contenders, but I'm going to see a little more, and this is going to be the last weekend coming up where there's 100 points on offer for some of these prep races. Win and you're in place, and you're probably going to punch your ticket as well.
Forte is the Patty Mahomes of horse. That say no more. Say
Yes.
no more. If Forte is
Yes.
Patrick Mahomes, then I am leveraging my home on that horse. Okay. Any storylines that heading into the Kentucky Derby that we should be aware of that might affect betting a little bit?
Yeah, well, I guess Forte is going to take a lot of buzz, and we're probably not going to see another start now until they are in the gates lining up for the Derby there. I think a couple other runners of note, Angel of Empire for Brad Cox. He has looked fantastic. I mean, the barn and the 3-year-olds they're bringing out here, but I like Angel of Empire. Should be at a nice little number. I've seen 38 to 1 in the most recent pools there. Flavian Pratt gets back in there for the ride, has the 4 wins from the 6 starts. And similar to last year, I mean, the most successful trainer at the Kentucky Derby is Bob Baffert, who's based out on the West Coast at Santa Anita. He's still currently suspended from competing in the Derby. So a lot of his runners have had to go elsewhere into different barns under different trainers if they want to pick up points and punch their ticket. So that's been a little fascinating. It's been a bit of a distraction. And a lot of those runners, and it was the same last year, have gone to Tim Yaktine, who's a very competent trainer in his own right. He's doing a fantastic job with them. But Tim Yaktine has an original runner in Practical Move, who we
Oh.
get to see this weekend at the Santa Anita Derby. We look at speed. We're big on speed figures in the racing. Practical Move still at a 12 to 1 looking number. And I think we see a monster performance this Saturday and could be right in the conversation there come that first Saturday.
Okay, well, that was my next question. Are there any races we should keep an eye on? But it seems like Santa Anita coming up this weekend, which is San Diego, I believe, right?
So it's just on the outskirts of LA. You've got Del Mar down a little further, Santa
Mar, yes.
Anita. It's just it's a tricky one to get to. I spend a lot of time out there at Santa Anita. Maybe I spend too much time at the track, Mox. Is there such a thing? But
No.
look, this is going to be a fantastic race. No, yeah, good answer. We've got the Wood Memorial, the Bluegrass, and the Santa Anita Derby, which has been a really good prep race going in to Churchill Downs. So Practical Move, keep eyes on a 3-time winner from the 6 starts, has that ability to maneuver. But again, I like speed. I like speed figures, but you've got to be wary. Some of these fields coming out from the West Coast are a little smaller, Mox. So you can imagine these equine, they're racing against 8, 9, 7 other competitors. You put them in the gates at Churchill Downs for the Kentucky Derby, where it's a 20-horse field. Sometimes that can get a little challenging if they don't start fast. So you've always got to keep that in mind when you're attacking your futures.
Now, you told me that you're coming home from Australia this weekend. Do you go to Santa Anita? Are you sitting this one out?
Hey, I gotta check what time we land in here. I think I'm gonna miss this one, Mox, but I will be back there early next week. It's not gonna be as exciting as what they've got coming up this weekend, but you know me, I'll find opportunities to make money,
Yes.
spend money.
Yes.
Hopefully, it's the first one. The first one's better. Making money's better than spending money or losing that cash. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I know exactly what you're saying. Dubsy, always a pleasure. I'm so stoked for you too. FanDuel TV, TVG, killing it, Sports Grid. I remember when we got lunch together back in LA, and we were trying to see how we can kind of work together. And I feel like you've just completely blown up. So proud of you, so stoked. And thank you as always for coming on.
Hey, I've got that Moxie. That's what they
Yes.
tell me. I've got that Moxie here on Moxie Bets. Look, I just send out the resume, and up top I say mates with Mox, and that's enough to get me in the door. So the rest is history. But always a pleasure, Katie. You're doing a fantastic job, and keep dishing out those winners. You know I love Talon.
Okay, I will for sure. So let people know where to find you. When on Sports Grid, when on FanDuel TV, all of that good stuff.
Yeah, it's like all of the above. Pretty busy, but you can get me on the social media channels at Mr. Dubsy on Insta, on Twitter. You'll see me on Sports Grid, TVG at FanDuel TV, all over the shop. We love talking sports. We love backing winners, and thankfully I get a chance to do that.
All right, Dubsy, thanks for your time and get some sleep, huh?
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
All right, we said goodbye to Dubsy. You know what to do now for the Kentucky Derby and the Masters this weekend. But of course, I've got some Mox Locks for you as well for the NBA today. It is a very tricky time to bet in the NBA. Last week, last couple days of games, you don't know who's tanking, who's resting their starters, what games are pivotal. Here's one pivotal game I have for you, and it's OKC versus the Jazz. I'm hammering the Thunder minus the 6.5. They absolutely need to win this game because the Mavericks won their game on Wednesday night. So they're going to be the more desperate team in this matchup. They're currently in 10th place. They'll either be the 10th seed or they will miss the play-in altogether. The other side of the court, the Jazz, they've lost 3 straight games. The door is starting to close on them in the Western standings. They've got a lot of starters out, most notably Markkanen. The Jazz are just 4-9 without him this season. SGA is back and available for OKC tonight. It's going to be a huge boost for the Thunder. They are 4-1-1 against the spread in their last 6 meetings versus the Jazz overall. They're also 2-0-1 against the spread in the last 3 matchups in Utah. So give me the more desperate team that absolutely has to win versus the team that really they got nothing to play for. I'm taking OKC minus the 6.5. We're going to stay in that game, and I'm going to give you a little prop parlay for a Thursday. I'm looking at SGA. His points prop is set to 32.5. I really like that. As I said, this is a very pivotal matchup. He also dropped 38 and 39 points in the last 2 matchups versus the Jazz. And then I'm going over to his assist prop. It's at 4.5. The over is juiced to minus 166. That's why I'm putting this in a parlay. He averages over this mark this season at 5.4 per game. And he's had at least 5 assists in the last 2 games. He put up 7 versus the Warriors on Tuesday. Put these 2 together, plus 181 on SGA. Let's go. All right, everybody, this has been Moxie Bets presented by Caesar Sportsbook. Don't forget to follow us on social at Moxie Bets, and we'll see you next week.